Oh boy. Oh, okay. Eighth house is revenge. He's getting some kind of revenge. This year, it's in Aries. Be mad. Of course, there's always a theme around Princess Diana every year because it is basically the palace and she has such a legacy there, but maybe something is coming up. This is Prince William here. Jeez. Next to Harry, and they're doing something that is extremely famous. There is something that they can't agree on. Let's look at Princess Diana. I just want something to know that we didn't before that might come to light today. That's what I'd like to know. It is the star. Oh, the star has fallen. I wonder who is the star. We need some clarification. Who is this person that is the star reversed? Oh boy. Oh, okay. All right. So we've got the star, we've got the lovers, and these are the two cards that I asked about that could give us some kind of insight on what we might learn today in this episode of Royal Revelations. This year, what should she be considerate of? What should Catherine think about this year a little bit more than she has already? So I kind of asked a little bit about what she should be concerned about. So High Priestess, what do you guys think? And it looks like somebody is very powerful. Maybe she even has reddish hair and that she's coming in somehow. I wonder who that is. In March, starting March 9th, coming up to April 9th. And there is a whole lot of stuff. This is the type of month you would have when you say, wow, it was just one thing after another. And so because you see this stellium here, if you could give us some more info. For Princess Catherine, March is Six of Wands, reversed. I think maybe there might be some awards that are coming up and she's not able to be there. It seems as if something's coming up between March 9th and April 9th. So we'll have to check back here to see what that is. But it looks like this could be her. And hello, everyone. I'm Val Evans. Great to see everyone. I am really excited about our show today. And that was kind of a long summary, but we got some good stuff last month. And now we're going to look ahead. I have Amber with Taurus Moon Tarot with me today. I'm so excited, and she can give us some great in-depth information with the cards, and she can go a lot deeper into the meaning than I can. So I think that's going to be really helpful as we look ahead. So we're looking at April. Now, Amber grew up in London or around London, so it's always interesting to hear her predictions. So if you've recently heard of this channel, you might have noticed its recent popularity. And that's because we show you how to make your own monthly predictions using your solar return chart. So that's what we will be discussing today for Prince William and Princess Catherine. I'll be working on another show tomorrow on Prince Charles and Queen Camilla. So make sure to catch that if you can. Thanks for liking and subscribing. And don't forget, you can get more info on my Instagram channel at Forensic Astrologer. So I'm also promoting a new reading, which is the past, present, and future reading. So I'll also have Amber's information if you'd like a reading from her. And she does some amazing tarot readings. So just make sure that when you reach out to her, put in reading in the subject line so she doesn't miss it. Okay, so we've got a bunch of charts, and I'm going to start with just a couple of promos here. And then I'm going to say hi to everybody. Let's see. Here we go. This is Charles and Camilla's April prediction tomorrow, and I'm going to give you the time soon. Now, this is when you're an AstroSeek and you want to pull your own solar return chart. You're going to go to the top right, and after you pull your chart, and you're going to see the solar return. So you're going to click the year which reflects your last birthday, and then you're going to click the solar only button, and that's going to give you the chart, which we're going to be looking at today for Princess Catherine and Prince William. So, all right, and then we're going to look at the Prince's transit chart. Well, let's just take a look real quick. It is, this is for March 18th, and take a look at this. I thought it was pretty interesting that, you know, this is Prince William. His chart ruler is Jupiter, and he has currently a square to Pluto. Is there anyone on here who has this type of transit? It is incredibly, incredibly difficult. It's kind of like what I would assume is sort of like a pregnancy where you're trying to give birth, but it's not ready yet. And it's extremely painful. So I think that, for lack of a better metaphor, is kind of what he's going through right now. So that's very difficult. This is Catherine with her picture there. She's Mercury in his chart. She's Mercury and Venus. But let's look at Mercury. It is in a square with Saturn right now. This can show just a lot of depression, people making you sad, having memories that remind you of things that are not something you want to. With the square, it's like, I don't want to remember that. And it keeps coming up, and things from the past. And it's like, can't we move on? So it's kind of it's a temporary feeling of sadness and not being able to really move forward. You're sort of grounded. The plane is grounded. And then the most important thing I would say is Saturn always represents your father or father figure in your chart. And as of March 18th, you can see this opposition here. And this is the North Node and Mercury. A lot of people are talking about his dad. There might be times when he can't really communicate with dad, but it does show some type of very difficult energy there. It is in Aries. So Mercury in Aries can show when, especially with North Node there, which is an amplifier, and with Chiron is, it's hurtful things. It's people saying things and dealing with their own anger. This could be Prince Charles. It could be Prince William having to deal with that energy right now. Diana, the entire thing with royal family is so sick and twisted. Just 3 months. You have Charles cancer, Kate missing, Guy commits suicide. Oh, hey, Amber, nice to see you. I was mentioning how you grew up in London, so you have an extra bit of interest in this type of reading. What's your take?
Well, my mind was blown when you were sharing that original chart, because if anyone remembers from our last time together, I have a new set of decks that show sort of transits, planets, houses that might be affected. So I did pull that for this particular reading in advance, and I have Mars in opposition to Saturn. And you were showing that chart with that opposition to Saturn, which I thought was very interesting.
I'm getting chills.
I feel that. And yes, I'm fascinated and I brought my tea, my literal tea, to get the tea.
Oh,
I have my milk and sugar tea.
Nice. Any type of tea? I know you have a favorite.
I do have a favorite, and it's an Irish tea. It's berries. I pulled one card, and I never do that. I always do a pre-reading. And the first card that came out, I was just intuitively, I just stopped. And it was the only card that just spoke to me. And in fact, it's the death card. And not because I was interpreting this or intuitively like traditionally, the first thing that stood out to me was that it's a processional. It's someone on a horse, riding through the Commonwealth with their flag. And the flag reminded me of this symbol is, if you're familiar with the War of the Roses. And it just reminded me of that imagery. And I thought it sort of rung to me the War of the Roses, with the family sort of in upheaval and having a lot of conflict. So that was the only card that I pulled until we get going on the charts and we need
That's
some clarity.
amazing.
We'll get in and
It's a card that I made peace with a
yeah,
while ago.
it could be the beginning of something new. Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's one way to look at it, really.
Yeah.
So Valerie's asking, Amber, is the tea lion's tea or Barry's tea?
It's berries.
Yes,
I am drinking out of my mug from England from the Battle of Bosworth,
of
which was
course.
the final battle of it's the start of the Tudor reign. The entire Tudor reign started this. So I thought that was appropriate too.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. All right, we
Oh,
have so many comments here, and yes, I'm going to talk about my classes at the end. Thank you for mentioning that. And I do classes that are just general astrology classes as well as forensic astrology classes. So serendipity, you're saying about the death card transformation. Sometimes we get tired of transformation. We're just tired. Okay. It's hard because you want to read the energy, but you don't want to necessarily intentionally gossip and spread other things. But really, what we were doing in this last reading, in the February reading, was what was the energy that was coming up. I already showed you Prince William's transit chart. Very, very tough. It just seems like everybody's against you sometimes. And so that's March 18th. And then here's the eclipse, which suddenly activates this opposition even more, which is the third and the ninth house. And this, it's going to affect his dad very much so. And it really gets going now. Pluto, let's see, Pluto represents his father as well. So, really, in the beginning of April, the third house is gossip, it's documents, it's, just general talk. And it's either the communication is completely cut off, we don't hear about them, which I know is so frustrating for the folks in the UK. And it's something where everything is cut off. So it's going to be really tough eclipse, I think, for April. We're going to get into some more specific things though. All right. So first off, and then we're going to pull a card. June 21st. Okay. So this started last June 21st. He is right at the end of the Scorpio sign, which means when you have your solar return ascendant in the last degrees, it usually means you're about to begin a new chapter. You're done now. And so for his ruling planet this year, it would be Pluto. Pluto is representative of a monarch and the monarchy, and seems as if everybody is very, very they get along with him, and for the most part, they know what his position is going to be. So they're on their best behavior, it looks like, because you have this little sextile here and then the trine. So at least he's got some support from the inside. Could you describe what he's been going through as bullying? I think maybe so, with Black Moon Lilith there and Mars. Oh, there's a lot of people who just have bad intentions that are talking. You've got lots of anger, lots of bullying. But thankfully, we move on to the next month, and it may feel a little bit better. Now, with this next month, and that's going to change from Leo to Virgo in the middle of that month. So that means there's more health talk, there's more working, lots of details to work out. And we also want to look, now this is still March, April. Yeah, I mean, give or take, this is March and April over here. So still dealing with a lot of just yuck with this stellium here. And the moon is very famous. This could be the princess too. This could be, look at this. Mercury is mom. Mercury rules the MC. And so there's a lot of love here, a lot of talking, Mercury in Gemini, about mom with those legacy awards. February 21st to March 21st. So we're not done with this one yet. And the ninth house represents the press. So a very big month when it comes to publications and people, talking, those headlines. And so this would be March 21st to April 21st. And so this is going to be soon activating, and that is ruled by Mercury. Mercury, again, represents his mom. So it should be another month where Princess Diana comes in somehow that he is addressing. Now, this coming month, March 21st, in a few days, this is definitely a Virgo month. So it's going to rule what he's talking about with the health and work and also mom. But something is happening here. There is a square, which is, you see this? Something is happening with, okay, the seventh house is Kate. So it's like he can't communicate for some reason. He's having a hard time with communications. And this is going to start April 21st. So what do you think that is? Maybe we should draw a card. Does it have to do with his mom? Does it have to do with Kate? There's some kind of health thing that's happening just on top of everything else. What are your thoughts?
Well, as you said that, being Virgo, and often I find the Magician to be representative of Will. This is on the bottom of the deck, and it is the Mercury card. It's the Virgo, Gemini, Mercury card. And I also attribute that to Will in my readings. Sort of underneath of him, energetically, it is about his family and incorrect information, page of cups upside down, maybe seeking an apology that won't come. And it could be from some kind of legal something with justice right behind it that causes stress. So I almost feel like there's some kind of message or information that is either inaccurate, incorrect, or not communicated, and he doesn't have power to change that. Rumors, things about his family. It has to do with his family with this Ace of Cups and the Ten of Cups. That's what comes out underneath of him. But we can ask the other question you just had now. I forget what it was, the specific question.
Yeah. No, that addresses it really. I mean, we're
Okay.
talking about bullying, health. What can't Mercury represents his career and Princess Diana this year. The same planet, which is Mercury, and it's in the seventh house. So there is, it's possible that he may want to stop talk about something, but he can't. But there's some kind of obstacle he's having, and like you said, it lines up with the Virgo, which is kind of crazy that you would pull that. And we're talking about the Virgo house. It's always spot on.
I think that whatever he is trying to not talk about has to do with Catherine, with the Nine of Pentacles, the Devil in reverse. It's almost as if there's a perceived enemy that he is not talking about. It's like not naming your enemy. Like if you don't say who the enemy is, they don't exist. This Devil in reverse, maybe a little bit of denial. And withholding thoughts and information with the Ten of Swords in reverse, it's like very, very quiet. Queen of Cups in reverse could be Camilla. Yes, I just got like, she's not supportive of. There might be a little bit of a disagreement with he and Camilla about his approach to not communicating or not talking about it.
Yes, absolutely, which we can look in the chart for that.
Yeah. He may turn his back on Camilla in some way. With the Queen of Cups in reverse and this Three of Wands, turning his back toward her. This is a common enemy. The Devil in reverse is something they have in common. Maybe it's the media, maybe it's just the press, and I'm overthinking this, but that's what came to me for the question that you asked.
Yeah, you have to think of it that way in a sense, because both of them they're working right now. They've got different schedules. They don't know what to expect. It is it takes your breath away from week to week, wondering, okay, well, which obligations do I have this week that I didn't have before? And, having to deal with this, like I said, in front of the public eye must be really difficult. So, serendipity, yes, you said she wouldn't have named her, but maybe it was a shrewd move. You don't know. But, we don't even really want to talk about Rose on this channel. It's just we want to forecast when her name will be coming up in the public eye. And it sure was right last month when we were trying to figure out, why do we have that card? The Lover's card, why was that coming up? And it would, at the very least, show that that's what the public would be talking about. So, yeah. So did you want to mention anything?
This just on the bottom of that last reading, the Hierophant in reverse, to me is sort of a destabilized firm, organization, or conglomerates. The royal family, they call themselves the firm. And this is a destabilization of that, or an upset, some rumblings under the surface.
Yes,
As
absolutely.
as an institution, I should say, institution.
I notice people get the Hierophant reversed when they are leaving, maybe they're transferring and they're moving to a different place, or, their structure definitely is not there. And especially for people who have Capricorn energy, natally, it is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and serendipity saying the man who made up that story admitted it was a lie. It sure didn't seem like it when he was talking about it, but it was a cruel thing I think, for him to do. Fire Nice says, love those cards. And all right. Yeah. Oh, we're talking about the brother. We were talking about that a couple of weeks ago, and sure enough, he's trying to be as loyal as he can, but he talks with her uncle, obviously talks with her mother, and just trying to keep his cards close, it looks like. Okay, so now I'm going to go. You ready to go back to the chart? Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right. Okay, so Virgo ruling March 21st to April 21st. I wish I could write, but April. And the first few days are gonna have to do with health, but then it goes into Libra, which would be his relationship. So he's probably having to deal with Virgo and Libra energies. And so let's see where Venus is. Venus is here. So he's back in it again, in this energy that is extremely difficult. And I say these are a group of people. We probably have an angry Black Moon Lilith. We don't know who that is, but maybe someone who has some type of a Mars. It is a thorny issue. The Mars. It's sharp, and then we have Venus and the Moon. So there's just a famous woman, famous princess. Now, could be Princess Diana, could be Princess Catherine, but this could also mean somebody else. Somebody else. This is really unsettling. And why? Because we've got this square to Uranus. This is another shock. So he's already had the 1, 2, 3, or 4 shocks because there's 4 points in here, or 4 planets, I guess you could say, 3 planets. And then the square to Uranus. That's how, for yourself, you can predict what's happening when you see, because everybody's going to have probably a cluster of planets in one of the houses. Hopefully, there's not a malefic like Mars in there, which would show anger and attacks and stuff like that. But when you have a square to Uranus, it's suddenly it's out of the blue. You're not expecting it, and it makes you angry, which is Mars square Uranus. I don't like, I think that's a very dangerous combination here. I think this could be a foreign entity. And this, I mean, even though you don't have any planets in this next month for him, doesn't mean anything because you look at Virgo and then Libra's coming in. Maybe the first 10 days you might have Virgo and then Libra, and then boom, you're back up here again with the square to Uranus, another shock. And Mars and squaring Uranus can show a weapon. It shows like a gunshot. So this could be something that's like a mundane event that he's having to address, but it looks concerning to me, and I would like to address that for the cards and anything else you would like to talk about
Yeah,
as well.
I was thinking that question you just asked very directly. What is the shock, right? And there are sort of more than one. And the time frame you said was June?
Yeah,
Or
it's coming up. It's between, I think it's going to be in April, March 21st to April 21st.
okay. The Tower in reverse.
Oh my. Okay, so explain that to me.
Well, that's Scorpio, big time.
Okay.
That to me, this is saying it's an avoidance. There's something potentially sidestepped or avoided disaster. That this intensity, this shock, I mean, this is obviously quite shocking. This looks like, people falling out of a building, lightning striking.
It looks terrible, but if it's reversed, does that mean something that you can reverse?
It doesn't necessarily. It means possibly avoiding something more disastrous. It doesn't mean the event won't occur or that something won't fall. It just might not be as disastrous based on some way avoiding it. And the Fool in reverse came out just before that, which is Mars. That's an Aries card. And in reverse, it's not taking some kind of risk. So he may have an opportunity to avoid this potential disaster of some kind or some kind of massive upset or Uranian upset.
Yeah.
By not taking some kind of a risk. Queen of Swords in reverse. And Queen of Cups in the upright. A lot of people, it has to do with women. And Page of Wands in reverse is also the press. What is he avoiding? King of Pentacles. Wow. Could we have more court cards?
Wow.
The Hermit, the Virgo card, and the Chariot. Chariot card for me is Diana energy.
Okay. And Mercury. So, yeah.
I would say that if the family is having conversations, I would say, I'm trying to find out who's in charge here of avoiding this disaster, some kind of collision or upset. It could have to do with, like you said, something more mundane astrology, involvement in something outside of their borders, some kind of foreign outreach with other nobility. King of Pentacles, I don't read that as Charles. I think that William is in charge of this decision. That's what I would say.
Okay. I mean, if you think about it, that's all they need right now is a big decision to be made. And, maybe not all the decision makers are at the table. So Prince William really has to step up, and that rules this next month. But I guess You know,
Queen of Swords in reverse is someone who is not offering their voice. So someone, and that could be Catherine, voice of reason, sort of in the reverse. Maybe there is lack of reason.
yes.
Someone not contributing to the conversation.
We should probably also, I mean, this is the number one question that's coming up right now. And I'm kind of beating around the bush with this, and I think we should address it head on here. There is a lot of talk among the staff that they were not given any notice about, and I don't know if it's true or not, about Princess Catherine and her leaving and not being available. Do you think that we could pull a card regarding just a direct question about Princess Catherine? I'll let you make that.
Yeah. The specific question that I was thinking of in advance of our meeting today with regard to her was actually, I had the Easter date in my mind because that was sort of the only public information from the family to say Easter was sort of this benchmark for her. And I want to see if that's going to ring true. And I was curious to see what was going to be happening on Easter with their family. I see that question, Toy. That's a straight up. But I was really thinking and trying to tune into the idea of Easter. It's a very celebratory day. They usually are out in droves as a family. They're, photographed all through that event every year. So I'd love to see, if that's within a week's time or 2 weeks' time is Easter. Where will Catherine be in 2 weeks' time? Let's see. Wheel of Fortune. I would say she would be available. She will be out in public. That sounds like a good thing. But Two of Cups in reverse is sort of maybe not at the typical level. It might be very brief. It might be very, under photographed compared to years past. The World and the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, I think she will be seen in the next 2 weeks. But I don't think it will be the fanfare maybe everyone is expecting.
Well, it may activate that Uranus square ninth house again, because the ninth house is the publications. And that Uranus square was activated when the whole photo scandal came out. So there's a possibility they're going to try again, and there's another shock. So, these are the days that the palace, I think, really wishes there was some distraction so the public could start thinking about something else.
Yeah.
Now, also, could we ask a question? And then I'll get back to the chart. This is so interesting. Let's see. There was a question. Okay. Nadia says, did you see pics shortly after his death of William? Oh, with a bruise on his neck and then another royal with a black eye. I guess after that guy's death, but I don't think it's connected. I mean, maybe it is, but there was a picture of William with a bruise on his neck. Could it have been Polo? Or was it Uranus square Mars, which is an attack? And that could have happened between February 21st and March 21st, which was that Uranus square. Again, that's like that's a sudden attack. Could it have been, was he under attack at all, I guess?
I pulled the 10 of Wands and the 6 of Swords in reverse. My first intuitive hit was that this is sports related. This is, or accidental clumsiness, potentially just clumsiness. And I'm getting an image of someone on a boat and the boat is off and you fall. And then that's how you get the bruise because the boat wasn't steady, or, you were doing something fun on the water and lost your balance and bumped your knee, whatever it was. I think it's accidental or doing something that was probably active and sports-like or fun. I don't think it was.
Okay. What were the cards?
The 10 of Wands, which is sort of coming to the end of some kind of pain. So I'm thinking the bruise, and then the 6 of Swords in reverse. Just the imagery of a boat sort of turned upside down made me think of
Ah,
being on a boat that's not very
interesting.
sturdy,
Well,
hurting
he
yourself.
shouldn't be on any boat right now. He's got responsibility. So,
Yes.
right. Now, let's go back to April for a second, and then we're going to move on to Princess Catherine's solar return chart. And if you are just joining us, earlier on in this show, I show you how to pull your own solar return chart so you can make your own predictions for yourself and your life. So make sure to catch that, and it makes it a little bit easier to understand. All right, so this was the Virgo month for him coming up March 21st. I really just addressed that square with Mercury, and this is in the seventh house of partnerships, and also, Catherine. So no speak, really. And then the other thing too with this month, and this is going to happen right at the date of March 21st because it starts this T square here. And the sun is his body. You know what's really interesting? It's right in Cancer there, but Mercury with in Gemini makes me think of everyone talking about how Kate had a body double, which would be Gemini. Everybody's talking about that, and that's coming in. Let's see. So we've got this T square. We've got him, which is the sun, his confidence. And his confidence is at an all-time low. And we've got Neptune here. This is another scandal, another photo, another video that he has to do damage control about. It could be just continuing to deal with the analysis, Virgo, of this photo. And how he's just like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm tired of it. It's stupid. Let's move on. And it's having to do with seventh house, which is, like I said, Catherine. So this is a major, major, major thing that he's dealing with March 21st. And it's in the fourth house. So this is the family scandal. Now, can we find out from the cards if this is a new family scandal that he's going to have to deal with in the first few days of his solar return chart for March, which is March 21st to the last few days of March?
Yes. And I'll put it out there, my own intuitive prediction, and I'll answer that. But Easter falls on the 31st of March. And I have a prediction of my own, allegedly for entertainment purposes, but I truly believe that there will be a photograph I think Harry and Meghan, along with their children, specifically their children, will be together on Easter, and they will be photographed as a whole. I think that would be shocking if they were
Yeah.
all together.
Yes.
But I definitely have this hit of the children, the cousins specifically, because we've never had photos of them all together outside of a royal function.
And when you
or
say the
wedding.
children all together, do you mean just Harry's kids?
Harry's kids and William and Kate's kids.
Whoa,
I see
wonder,
this Easter cousins, them to get like photo opportunity that could be very
you
shocking.
would think, I mean, the palace is in crisis talks in my mind, and they're like, look, we don't care what you think. This doesn't have to do with, your relationship. This has to do with the palace and the monarchy. You better get yourselves together right now. This last thing with the Diana legacy, that's it. No more. No more. And
Yeah.
so I think that's a possibility. That's what's happening right now because they see how negatively the public is reacting. So absolutely.
So let's see what the cards say about what William will be managing or navigating between the 21st and the first week of April. Is that the timing? King of Cups in reverse. Page of Wands in reverse. One more. And the Hanged Man in reverse. This is being forced to set emotions aside, King of Cups in reverse, tamper down emotions, and see things from actually someone else's perspective. I feel like he might have to see something from someone else's perspective that he's probably resistant to. I don't think this is something he's going right along with swimmingly. Temperance in reverse. He has no patience for it. No patience for it. It could be a dispute about charitable something that they have charitable I don't know what they're involved in charity wise.
Yeah. You mean who? Prince William?
William and
Yeah.
Harry.
I guess there's a long list, but yeah, you're thinking just specifically a certain charity, maybe?
Yes, that there is a dispute over it, or it's it has to do with that. It might have to do with something charitable that they do. And he's sort of being forced to see it from someone else's perspective, and he may not like that. And he's run out of patience altogether for that.
Very interesting. Okay.
What is Harry doing right now with charity work?
They do a lot on Invictus, the games, lots of things about the games.
Mhm.
Also, they just visited victims of the Uvalde massacre. I guess, and she started her big, I mean, it was a big month for them. She started her big lifestyle brand. And I almost think it's a nice thing when they do this because, and I know nobody else thinks this because they're like, oh, well, she, on the day that Prince William was supposed to speak just hours before, she releases, which is so Scorpio, so monarchy, that energy, which is kind of like a punch, and I'm sure she's upset because she knows the back, in a sense, the behind the scenes conversations where he said, "No, Harry, I don't want you here, you bastard." And she's like, well, you know what? Guess what we're going to do? So it's kind of like that kind of typical thing.
Yeah. I guess I see William in the next couple of weeks having to swallow his pride, allow for something that he may not necessarily be in support of or he disagrees with. But it's not a matter of his sort of doing in the next couple of weeks, something that he's against. But the Knight of Cups is a positive, that there's, sort of a warmer energy around it. Ultimately, at the end of it all, the Knight of Cups is an apology. It can be someone bringing sort of, an olive branch or some kind of peacemaker in a scenario.
Wouldn't that be nice? That would be nice if somebody apologized for
Somebody
once.
would just
come on,
ride on in with your apology.
I need to know what the apology is. What was that again?
Yeah. The Knight of Cups.
Knight of Cups. Okay.
Yeah.
9 or Knight?
Knight.
Knight.
Yes,
right.
the Knight.
We like the Knight of Cups.
Yes,
Good.
we do.
All right.
He's all sweet things.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, he's dealing with a big T-square here in the next few days. It has to do with partnerships, his career, his work, which could be the charitable organizations, and some kind of scandal. Somebody's missing. I don't know. Another photo, probably. Sometimes the energy brings forth more than one time. It's a repetition of things. So it's like, oh God, not another photo went out. Stuff like that. I don't think that they would do something like that. They, meaning the firm or the palace, they would allow another photo to go out, but I don't know. It seemed a little bit much when it came to the reason they pulled that photo back. And I'm on this group chat for PR people. And I mean, these are really these are top PR people in the industry in the US. And you should have seen some of the responses. They were flabbergasted. They had never, ever seen any, direction like killing, the photo. It's been
Yeah.
like, from what I understand, it's been, 20, 30 years before,
Since
since
then. Mm,
that happened.
yeah.
So they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And they thought it must have been something so major. And that's why I think there was such an analysis of the photo, because they're like, what's like, okay, so what?
Right.
And
So what?
I wonder if there was a real reason for it, whether
Mhm.
it was somebody's going to recognize that it was another photo of her from the past, or maybe she didn't have her wedding
Mm,
ring on. It seemed a little
yeah.
fake to me. So
Yeah.
is that a way we could, maybe that's
Mm.
a question we could ask, is either what was the real reason for the kill direction on
The overkill of pulling that photo
thank you.
was
The
overkill.
overkill kill of that
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was the motive behind that? Oh my gosh. Justice in reverse and the 9 of Cups. That's just an overindulgent um, miscarriage of justice, like almost as if a fear of being sued, a fear of being unsuccessful in a lawsuit, avoidance of a lawsuit. And this is the overdoing card. Talk about the overkill of killing that photo. This is confirmation of that. See what's here. Yeah, this could be the press. This is the sort of looking out amongst the worldview. It's part of this partnership relationship, especially with justice. And maybe it was to save the relationship with the media and the royal family, or to avoid having a conflict with them.
Definitely, and that goes back to that Uranus squaring the ninth house of
Mhm.
press.
Yeah.
That could be, fear of a lawsuit, or they're
Mhm.
already on shaky
Yeah.
ground in a sense with both sides. Really, they're
Yeah.
suing. There's everybody's,
Hmm.
I don't know, litigious.
Yes.
So, but okay, so that puts me in that direction. Like there was fear of something that was potentially damaging,
It,
and that's why they brought it back.
yeah.
Hmm, makes me even more curious. Now, there was one card you pulled, and
Mhm.
it 3 of something?
3 of Wands.
3 of Wands. I wonder if that is
This is, to me, I mean, again, I'm not reading the natural reading or the natural meaning of it, but this to me is sort of the world's expectations. It's the external expectations of things and how they should be and how they should appear and what they would look like. And with justice in reverse, it's sort of like avoiding being viewed in, sort of the losing side of
Oh,
the
yeah,
courts, or being on the bad
exactly.
side,
Hmm,
or being viewed as overindulgent or
overindulgent.
overdoing. And I mean, they're consumers of this, you know tea, if you will,
Yeah,
in their
yeah,
lives. But I do think it's an equal give and take between. I think the royal family's part of it. They're part of it. They feed the beast. They do, to some degree. They do.
it's
And
amazing.
maybe I wonder if it didn't come from the royal family to say, kill that. Just
Yeah, at first, my first reaction was it was because she wasn't wearing a wedding ring.
he never does.
No, he doesn't, right,
No.
and now notice that that's a big thing, they're all talking about he doesn't wear his wedding ring. Well, I mean, even back when they were
Yeah.
just, which I don't like that, by the way. You get married, you wear a ring. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I'm old-fashioned,
But isn't
but
his answer he doesn't like jewelry?
that's bull. He's got so much Scorpio. Anyway, that's interesting about the
Interesting.
justice that would pull up like that. So
Yeah.
some kind of justice card and the
Yeah.
courts. I definitely think that's a good
Yes.
connection there. All right.
Mm.
Now we're
Mm.
about to get to the good stuff here. And this is, I already talked about the T square. There's also something really good coming in too, and it has to do with work. This is his MC. This is activating the first couple of days, March 21st to maybe 29th. And Uranus, it's like suddenly something really good is happening and pretty fast. So it's like maybe he thought that he was going to be getting some projects in the fall, but he's going to get them right now. So that would be something like that. And also a nice trine. We keep talking about the square and, how I'm all worried. But then we've got another nice trine to Pluto. Well, that's nice because he's having such a hard time transit wise with the square to Pluto. But Pluto's on his side this month between March 21st and April 21st. This is second house, lots of power, lots of assets. So maybe some things that are coming his way. And to your point, the 12th house is nonprofits, it's charities. So there's a potential that maybe he's giving a lot of money away to some kind of charity there. And he's really proud about it and happy. Now we're going to go to the solar return for Princess Catherine. And she started her birthday in January, and I could have put a better picture of her, but that seems to be her mood in my mind. And KC wears a pinky ring, which I didn't like even back in the 80s. I used to say, because I was a little girl, I'd say, Mom, I don't like boys who wear pinky rings. No offense to anyone who wears a pinky ring, but it's just, I guess it's a thing. It's an English thing. So kings never wear rings. I can't remember if princes do. Interesting. So it even was announced that he would not wear a ring. I don't know. I don't like it. But I guess it really doesn't matter because everybody knows he's married anyway. So, all right. Now, her solar return from 2024 to 2025. We're already into it. We got January, February, March 9th, and now we're looking at April 9th to May 9th is in here. I wonder if we could see a photo or something like that Easter photo. But here's what I have a problem with. I talked about this in January with that big T square that was coming in. And let me do that again with red. T square meaning the red triangle. And it usually shows the challenge that you're going to have and what month you're going to have that challenge. So January was health issues, but this is the real problem of the whole year. It's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be Pluto. Now, Pluto is lots of Scorpio related things, even health issues. So, we're talking stuff around the reproductive areas, but we've got, this is William right here. This is a big, and on the other side, this is part of fortune. There's something here that is, it could be some kind of a power struggle, but he's in the 8th house here. He could have to do with money, could have to do with her money. Not that, do they have a joint account? I don't know, but the 8th house is the second house of the mate. So he's in there, and there's something that is not being agreed upon. It has to do with the home itself. This could be trying to figure out if they're going to move, if she's going to move back to the apartment or not, or the Kensington apartment. I want to know what that Pluto is. And for her solar return, Pluto is in Capricorn still. This is the government. This is lots of rules. This is wanting to change the rules. This could have something to do with her wanting to say, look, I know that it's normally this way, but I'm sorry. She's almost having her own, dare I say, Meghan Markle moment where she's like, this doesn't work for me. And it seems as if William is saying, too bad. That is just too bad. The 6th house is ruled by Jupiter as well, which is her health. Okay. And also the 3rd house, which is communications. So Pluto could represent some type of such a big health issue that is not, it's not successful. Maybe they have to do something else. So I guess that would be a point for the cards.
So our question would be, what is it?
Yeah, the T square with Pluto. Yeah, T square with Pluto. This is probably the biggest challenge of the year. And
Yeah.
it's between, even though last month was a real doozy, this one, how'd you like a T square with Pluto after that last month that you had?
Yeah.
What can we get any more detail when it comes to that really challenging T square?
Page of Pentacles.
Oh,
Children. The three, yeah, there are three of Pentacles in reverse. That's definitely about not having cooperation, not working cohesively with others. Page of Swords, it's definitely about children. Information
okay.
about them. I did hear that they were currently not staying where everyone would have imagined they'd be staying. She was in Norfolk.
Yeah,
Is that, yeah, so, and they lived there before. It did make
they
me
did.
wonder, is there something shifting with the living circumstances, the age of the children, or where they are? And, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Let's get one more.
Something is stuck there.
The Tower in reverse again. That's upset of a household or avoiding upset of a household, but it's hold on. Let's do one more to clarify this Tower. What is this? Moving? I don't have any real hard. No, it's the end. Ten of Swords in reverse. There's William, the magician, just popped right out. And King of Cups. I feel like, oh, there's the move card. There's the real estate card right on the bottom, the Four of Wands. I was thinking along those lines, they might be moving. She might be pushing for a move that is problematic, maybe, or doesn't happen in the way that she'd like it to. And I think it's driven by the kids, maybe their ages, the schools that they're in, or moving to a different school, or being closer to her family, maybe.
That is interesting because there's something in this chart that is really good news in the first few days, I think, of April. This is still going to be the 9th.
Hmm.
Yeah, this will be 9th of April. So it'll be after April 9th. And then she has this Uranus trine to the sun. So suddenly something, 8th house is real estate. She might have an idea about something.
Yeah.
And it's in Capricorn, maybe to pare down something. Maybe, this is where we normally live. It's too much. I'd like to do this and I'd like to do it soon, which would be
Yeah.
Uranus. But it's something that seems like it's coming pretty fast where there's a direct, I mean, Uranus has changed, but it's a welcome change. And the sun is also her body too. But then soon after that, the Pluto comes in. So it's almost like she's it's two different energies. It's like a shift forward and a shift back.
Well, could the shift back be what I was thinking a minute ago was like her family? I know she grew up in the Berkshires, but I don't know exactly where related to where they are currently. But I almost wonder if she's looking to sort of go back to her closer to her childhood home or schooling that she had where she was in school, her children to go to. Like that would be very non-traditional for them to follow.
Capricorn is to go back. Yeah.
Yeah, to maybe closer to her parents or something like that. I don't know where they live, so.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And then, what's a little bit confusing is it looks as if from that trine with the sun, it seems as if something is good that is from a health care perspective.
This is definitely the past. The Six of Cups again. It's childhood home, childhood friends, childhood. And it could be, I think I remember saying that in the previous reading that we did together about sort of a relaunch of her and then a sort of a setback, sort of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I don't know that her health concern is fully resolved based on the prior reading. And then today, I think I would say there could be a minor setback, like you said, a secondary sort of follow-up or procedure, something like that.
Yeah.
Which won't make anyone happy in the world because they never want her to leave the public eye for a hot minute. It's very upsetting, apparently, to everyone.
I know. From ancient astrology, the husband. So that's why I want to look at Jupiter, the wealthy husband, which is in Taurus. Taurus is wealth. And that this T square will be activated. Interesting how the T squared is activated in her chart and he is having a T square activated in his chart. And so this could be now Pluto is the monarchy. And this could actually be potentially good for her because the monarchy wants something done. And with that square, with part of fortune, which is success, they're not successful. They don't get their way. But it could be a big fight. In the end, they don't get their way. So sometimes it's nice to know that. Like, just take it easy. Don't have stress. They want to do this, this, and this. It's not going to happen. So let's just let this month go and then we'll focus on the next month. So that would be something that you would think of when you would see this type of T square to aim straight at a house like the home. She really has, it's almost like Scientology. It reminds me of like, Katie Holmes, where, you can't just go into your home.
Yeah.
You always have people around it, or at least it feels like that because your job is your life. Now, for her transit chart, this is today, and just making a note that there's Pluto, which is transiting her 6th house of health. Very, very difficult, really. And I mean, that could speak to that square too in the 4th, where, she's having to deal with Plutonian issues affecting her health. Saturn, good news, Saturn is out of her 7th. And that can mean a coldness with a mate. Sometimes it can mean celibacy. And that's no fun. So that's out of there. Not that she's thinking about that, but it's really nice. And then also she has Neptune square Neptune. This is in the 5th house of the family and 8th house, which is real estate. So may just, I need to go somewhere where I feel at home type of thing. Just a cloudiness can also make you feel tired too, which I'm sure she does.
Could it be secret photos of the children?
Oh, hold on. Let's see. So the children, that's Jupiter. And we would look at Jupiter, and this is a trine to Venus in Pisces. Yeah, but she has Jupiter and Uranus at the top here, which is in the 10th house and trining Sun. So this transit with Uranus shows that she's on the mend pretty fast, give or take maybe a couple of adjustments that, maybe she has to, maybe have one more procedure, or it just seems like things are starting to move ahead pretty fast, which would be Uranus. 10th house too is your career. So she's got a lot of time on her hands, maybe while she recovers. So she's starting to think, what do I really want to do? What makes me happy? Yeah. Well, Uranus is about to come into, the next few years going to oppose Uranus. And that's the typical symbol of like midlife crisis. So getting into that zone. What a wild solar return chart. I think that she's going to start feeling a little bit better. It doesn't look like it's going to be for a few months. Good Lord. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, no. Maybe the most positive month I would say would be June, July, August. And but still some upsets because August is still activating that T square. So for her, every month has a pro and a con. It's not all pro, which is what you hope for sometimes. It's just kind of like jumping through the next hoop for the next month. It certainly won't be boring, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So should we ask a final question here? Anything that you're pulling or thinking about?
I was just thinking about the upcoming week, and it shows recovery and healing still, coming out of that place with the Four of Swords in reverse, sort of, getting your legs back and recovering and coming out of hibernation, and rest. And then also the Nine of Wands in reverse, which is another sort of healing from wounds and,
Oh, it is.
long, yeah,
Okay.
long battle of
Interesting.
some kind, and sort of healing from that, coming to the other side of it. That was all I pulled while you were
Okay.
talking about the
Okay.
upcoming
Good to know.
months.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Angel asks a good question. Are the children with Kate? I wonder who's caring for them while Kate recovers. I'm sure they must be close by.
Well,
Um,
that's what I read. Someone in the chat said that they were, here. Yes, they were at Adelaide, but I heard they went back. She went back with the children to Norfolk home during this recovery, that's where she has been recovering, not at Adelaide Cottage,
okay, gotcha.
which is interesting. I don't know the reason for
So
that.
they're at Amber Hall now, I guess. Is
That's
that
what
you're
I
saying?
read.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Mars is amber, so that's part of that little cluster,
Wow.
I think, with that
Yeah.
opposition with Uranus.
Interesting.
So I wonder if, it has to do with the setting of where they are living. It
Mhm.
is daunting when everybody knows where you live. Thankfully, they've
Yeah.
got a lot of security, but not
Yes. So
something
are
that
the
I would.
children with her, was someone's question. They are. They are. And there's other family members that are in, that are out, the Ten of Pentacles, other children or friends, Queen of Pentacles. Yes, they're definitely surrounded by close family. And I would say, this is Capricorn. So there she is. There's the mom. There's Kate as the Queen of Pentacles.
That's
Um,
great. That's good to
with
hear.
Page of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles. And this is generational, family. So
Okay.
they've probably seen extended family as well as their mom. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Marina. So then I'll take that back about Mars being amber. It is
Mhm.
Amna Hole. Okay.
And
Amna. And
mhm.
yes, they do. They do change by gender because there's different symbols. So for Will's chart, he's going to have Venus and the ruler of his seventh as his significant other. So Venus is always the wife. And then in uh, Kate's or Princess Catherine's chart, it's going to be Jupiter is the husband or the seventh house lord, Jupiter always
Mhm.
being the husband. And
Yeah.
it's, so for gender, yes, that would be one example.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Well, it was so nice to see you. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise. It's always fascinating.
Some amazing charts. So insightful. I enjoy it so much. Thank you.
Great. And we'll make sure to get everybody to look at the description box so that they can email you for a reading. Thanks again.